Today is a new day.
Ashley the Constant Wanderer here for another special vlog. Today, as you can see, I'm joined by Daniel Evans. Me and Dan decided to take Pepe, our little 7-month-old baby, to Jamaica for 2.5 months, and I couldn't have done it without him. I figured we could do a special here and answer your questions because so many people have been like, how on earth did you guys survive Jamaica for 2.5 months? We'll start with Lisa, John and Ada, who asked us how to cope with the baby in the heat / on a beach, which is a really valid question for anyone who wants to take their child on a beach holiday or who wants to travel somewhere exotic.
The main thing that we had that was incredibly useful was our pop-up sunshade. Being on a beach with a baby, you've got lots of things working against you, but with this we had some sort of protection from sun, wind, sand, bugs.
Yeah. There was that one time I was in Frenchman's Cove and we were protected from the rain by it.
Yeah.
It's just started pissing it down with the rain. It was beautiful and sunny when we got here.
Yeah.
And it got cloudy. And now should we show you outside?
Let's have a look. Oh my days.
She always had like long tops on, long sleeve tops, long sleeve trousers,
long sleeve
wetsuit, hats that would like, you know, that sort of cover, shade the face and the neck. We'd always try and make sure there's something between like her and the sun.
That actually relates really nicely to another question that we received from Megan and the twins. Where in Jamaica was like, we would recommend for her to take her 2 boys and her partner for the first time. And which beach do you think was, which area?
I'd say Negril, definitely.
Yeah?
Because it's the most built up in terms of like, you know, having all the facilities that you could possibly want. And we found a really nice spot called the
Island Lux. Island Lux. I was just thinking about that. Yeah, it was really nice. And they had sun lounges outside. They served food. They had toilets. If you've got kids, what more do you want? Don't get too caught up in the whole air conditioning thing. I believe that it actually makes it harder for your child to adapt and to relax into the heat of somewhere. I know it's really easy to kind of think, oh my god, they're too hot, let me put them in like minus 100-degree temperature to cool them down. And actually I found that taking Pepe into the shade, giving her cool water and just letting her cool down naturally was much more effective and meant that she was much more comfortable in the heat of the day. Staying hydrated is also very important. So we had a few questions in from people wondering how we managed the flight. It wasn't the first time Pepe had flown, but it was the longest. It was like a 9-hour flight or something like that, and we'd never been up in the air with her for that long. I was just really nervous about her sleeping, about her making too much noise and bothering other people. Actually, I wasn't really that bothered about that. She's a baby, she will make noise. Sorry passengers, this is life. I have to go on holiday too. But yeah, it's really good. They give you a bassinet for the baby to sleep in, or if they're an older child, it's like a little bouncy seat. And it's strapped onto a platform table sort of in front of your chair. You've got your leg room. I just want to say to anyone who's traveling with their baby in one of those bassinets, I fell asleep and it took, and you fell asleep as well in a couple of rows back, and it took a woman sitting next to Dan kind of going, excuse me mate, your baby, because Pepe had like sat bolt upright in her sleep and like begun like
trying to climb
attempting to climb out.
She was asleep as well though.
Yeah, it was really good.
I was basically
like,
sleepwalking
on the plane.
I'm kind of the opposite to Ash in terms of like, I'm very conscious of how other passengers are feeling about being like stuck next to a baby or whatever. So I'm constantly trying to like keep Pepe quiet and, you know, sort of like keep her well behaved. One
of the tricks that I used, you know, obviously going up and down, all the pressure changes, some people have said that they've struggled to regulate their baby's ear pressure, and I found that giving Pepe regular drinks, I gave her lots of boob on the way up, gave her lots of boob on the way down, she never refused boob. But yeah, I think that's it, like entertaining them, feeding them on the way up and down.
Yeah, encouraging them to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, sleep is key. So
our next question is kind of a question, kind of a comment from Amanda, Michael and Solo. And Amanda sort of made a comment about the impact of different types of accommodation and what it's like kind of living as a family with a baby in one hotel room. What were the best type of accommodations we stayed in?
Anywhere with its own kitchen and basically its own living area.
So Airbnb,
basically.
Airbnb. We had Airbnb in Kingston, in Little Bay, we stayed in an apartment in Discovery Bay. I think it was only in Port Antonio,
Yeah.
and your
Blue
first time in the
Mountains.
Blue Mountains, that we had like a hotel
Yeah.
kind of vibe.
It just wasn't as nice as having your own kitchen, because then you got a microwave, stove, fridge. I think the main thing was for the hotels that we stayed in, like they were accommodating to us. We had a baby, we were like, can we just, we just need to make up food every now and again.
Yeah.
We just need to heat up food, or like make batch food or
Need extra
stuff like that.
small portions of things. Like Bayview in Port Antonio are actually really good at looking after us, but you do feel like you're kind of getting under their feet because they've got a job to do and they're not there to cater for your your 9-month-old's like specific needs. It's questions that come from a couple of ladies. Stella and Mercy in particular are two that kind of stuck out to me when they asked about medical problems while travelling, and what if the baby gets sick. Obviously when they are teething, when they're weaning, when they're growing, like babies go through all these different stages where they get snuffles, or they lose their appetite, or they might get a bit of a temperature. I've done a really great vlog about our travel medicine bag, which will kind of give you some tips as to what you can carry, what home remedies you can carry with you when you travel. But in general, like if you're travelling and your baby gets sick, what can you do, babe?
Make sure you have travel insurance, so if there's an accident or something, then you know that you're covered if your baby needs treatment. It's worth mentioning as well that if you're going for a long period of time, I think anything longer than 30 days, you might need to get special travel insurance.
Every country that you'll ever go to will have like tourist medical facilities or like expat medical facilities. If you speak to your host, speak to your hotel, speak to your friends in the country, and just find out where the nearest place is.
If you have an American Express card, then they also have something called Global Assist.
Yeah, Global Assist is really good because it's like a 24-hour number that you can call and be connected to a doctor or a lawyer anywhere in the world, or most places. They cover like a lot of places in the world. Another great question is from Emma. She's from Chicago, and she asked, as much as we love our children, breaks from them are needed. What did you do when you needed a break?
Well, we tag teamed it for one, didn't we? So Ash would take the night shift and I would take Alpe away for the morning shift. So we just took it in turns, generally. If we ever needed a break together, which was quite rare that we ever found a moment to ourselves without Alpe, we basically relied on other people that we met. Just something about having a baby that instantly is like
hearts, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I was going to say it's like an icebreaker, isn't it? So we made so many friends, and we just grew to trust people, even if it's just for like 5 or 10 minutes, so we could like go and have a swim together.
In Treasure Beach especially, like Dan kind of constructed this little playpen out of some of the benches that were out on the terrace, and obviously we asked permission first, but we created a little area that was safe for Alpe, and we removed all the hazards from there, and we put her in there with some toys, and that would give us like half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour if we were lucky.
While we were there, she was going through the stage of crawling, finding things, putting everything in her mouth. It was quite exhausting, like really just keeping an eye on her like the whole time. You couldn't.
Lizards.
Yeah, she almost ate a lizard at one point.
If one of us wanted to go off and do something, so like Dan went scuba diving and with his cousin, and I had the babe, or like I went ziplining and Dan had the babe. It was really a case of us being really open with each other and being able to communicate our needs for the moment, and saying, look, I need space from this child right now because she's fit my head in. We had another question from Emma. She said, I noticed you are using reusable nappies a lot of the time. How did you deal with laundry?
So, I mean, some places that we stayed, it just wasn't feasible for us to use reusable ones.
Yeah.
So we just used disposables. So I wouldn't say like, we use them all the time. It was a mix depending on our circumstances.
These are little lamb reusable nappies. They are super, super useful, really, really easy to use with like inserts and whatnot. They're really easy to wash. Obviously if it's a wee, like I just chuck it in the shower with us and just stomp on it and give it a wash that way. Emma, we did use reusable nappies some of the time, but yeah, it was definitely a mix.
Yeah, and drying them was really quick because it was always hot and sunny. When you're away for so long, you obviously have to get our own laundry done.
Yeah.
Most places that you stay, they do offer laundry services or whatever, but it's worth also looking out for local laundrettes while you're there, because if you do it through the place that you're staying, you will get ripped off.
The next question is from Ayana, and she asks, is there a set bedtime or any other routines that Pepe has, and how are they affected by travel?
We're kind of in both mindsets really, aren't we? That like, yeah, she needs routine and she needs to have her meals at the same time and sleep at the same time and whatever, but also within that we're also like, she actually needs lots of flexibility.
Because we're not robots and we need to go and swim and breathe and fly. Being like stuck to a routine so rigidly that you can't do anything is just so stressful.
And it's not, it kind of defeats the point of being on this trip.
Children are very, very flexible. They will eat anywhere, they will sleep anywhere if you let them and if you encourage them to do that. So making sure you have food to go and making sure you have somewhere for her to sleep, him or her to sleep if they're tired. As long as you're meeting those like core needs, I think that especially if you're travelling, just let the whole routine thing go, you know, and go with the flow.
But also I think that the napping thing was basically our time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We'd be like, right, this is our hour, you know, this is the time when you're sleeping, so I think we were doing that. Such an idiot.
So the next question, the question directed towards Dan specifically, and it was, how did you find travelling Jamaica with a black girlfriend and a mixed baby?
Yeah, it's kind of an impossible one to answer really, because I have no comparison. I haven't travelled Jamaica by myself or with a white girlfriend. One comparison I do have was for when we first travelled together, which was to India.
Oh yeah.
And this was before Alape was born, obviously. This is about 5-6 years ago. And then, like, you know, I think as a white person you get stared at a lot anyway in India, but I think black people are even rarer. Then for both of us to be a couple together was like, whoa. Like, I mean, we silenced entire restaurants, like when we walked in. I mean, it was like, you know, then we really, really stood out.
I kind of worried that Dan might feel that he would be not accepted and like, you know, the odd one out kind of thing. But Bob Marley's mixed race. I know that sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but actually Jamaicans are really very open, and there is that slogan that out of many people we are one, and you really get that vibe everywhere you go.
Yeah, generally I found travelling with you guys like a real pleasure. Especially with Alape, because she's such like a wicked little baby, and you know, everyone loves her.
But overall, like the Dashleys in Jamaica, gosh, like it was a successful trip, and you know, people keep on saying to us, we're so proud of you because we did it, you know. Yeah,
no, definitely. It was a big achievement, and we've come back like so much stronger as well, and I think Alape has changed a lot as well, and hopefully it has a lasting effect on her.
Gosh, the Dashleys in Jamaica series is up on YouTube in its entirety, and I've really, really enjoyed like bringing you these tips from our journeys. And I feel really inspired by Jamaica, by you, by Alape. And I hope that you feel inspired by us too, to get out there with your families and enjoy each other and enjoy this amazing, fantastic, crazy, lush world that we live in.
Nice.